Hello, everyone. This is Mike Mulrooney
I'm Kellye Duckworth.
for this episode of Shirley Talk. So we do this every time, but I don't think it matters today. But Kellye, you're not a doctor.
Nope. Or a lawyer or an accountant.
I was gonna say physician, but that's the same
Nope.
thing as a doctor, isn't it? Yeah, I lost my nurse practitioner.
No.
They're pretty popular
I
these
think
days.
it's Nurse Practitioner Week, actually.
I'd rather go see a nurse practitioner. Nothing
I would
against
too.
doctors, but they're much easier to see. So
I agree.
yeah, and they're much more personable.
Mhm.
Sometimes doctors aren't as personable as the nurse
No
practitioners.
bedside manner.
Yeah. So yeah, in legal field anyway.
Nope.
All right. The reason we
Nothing.
point that out every episode and we try to have some fun with it is because we want to make sure that if you hear something come from myself or Kellye, get legal advice or get professional advice because
We're
not
entertainers.
we're not professional anything other than professional. Well, I'm not even going to say that because it's going to lead into I was going to say professional fundraisers because we're not.
No.
We're just creative and have come up with some unique ways to try and raise money, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Is raising money because we got a phone call that really kind of frustrated me, and you'll understand why here in a few minutes as we go into the story. But first of all, Kellye, how do we raise money? I'm going to test your brain, and you've been around for a while, so I think you know all the answers to this. So how do we raise money to support the patients that we do? Keep in mind, we've given away since my mom died over $1.2 million.
Okay. Well, we can start from the beginning. You started out by selling T-shirts.
There you go.
So we'll say merchandise.
So, okay, so keep that in mind. And we're doing this for a reason. We want everybody to hear how we raise money. So when we started selling T-shirts, bright orange T-shirts, now keep in mind, we get a pretty good deal on T-shirts. And we were selling them for $20 a piece. Sold a few of them at $20 a piece. And people complained because not everybody, but the general public can be a little frustrating to deal with. So when I say they complained, we were selling them the first year at the fair for $20, and we had several people come up, look at them, say, I can get that same thing at Walmart.
But weren't they dry fit too?
Yeah, different,
they
special.
were nice, good quality shirts.
Yeah. So at the time, we were paying quite a bit of money for these shirts. We didn't have the amazing Joe Bohannon to print these shirts for us at the time, and I'm glad we found him. But
Shout out to A+.
yeah, A+ screen printing. But we weren't making a lot of money, even at selling $20 a shirt, and some people complain. But we raised enough money to get our 501c3 status. All right, so we started selling T-shirts. What's another way we raise money?
Okay, the next one I'm gonna say you started some events.
Yes.
And
Remember which one it was?
I
Were you old enough to walk back then?
No, but was it a 5K? I guess.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was your red carpet event.
It was the first. That was the first.
Okay.
Yeah, we did a red carpet event.
This is almost 10 years ago. You know that, right?
It hit me the other day. It hit me the other day because you're gonna do your volleyball tournament on the day Mom died, March 5th. And it hit me that it's 9 years.
Yeah. That's crazy.
But yeah, so yeah, we did a red carpet event. It was fun. We had some music. We rolled out the red carpet and had cancer people dance down the carpet and have a good time. Unfortunately, several of those people aren't with us anymore. They passed. But it was a good time. So yeah, we did a red carpet event, which it'd be fun to do again.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't around for that, so I think that'd be a cool event.
Yeah.
So there you go. So you have events, and I guess you did those for a few years, and then I started coming around because you have said this before. You cannot raise $1 million off of a bake sale.
Nope.
And our events are fun, and we have several that are big money raisers for us, I guess. But most of them aren't. I mean, they're nice to get out in the community and get our name out there, and people enjoy them. But I mean, I don't want to put our business out there, but the volleyball tournament doesn't bring in $10,000, you know? So, I mean, it's fun and we love doing it. But you have to think that it's probably only able to help a few people.
Yeah.
Just off of that one event. And it takes a lot. It takes a lot of volunteers. It takes a lot of effort to do events like that. So I started coming around, and you had started raffles. The Queen of Hearts drawing that we are doing now. That was 2016, I guess. Probably when I started coming around to that. Because my mom's a gambler, obviously. So, yeah, you started that, which is funny because now the Kentucky Gaming Commission says that you went completely backwards. You started bingo last, which is usually the first route that people go in charity. But so now we have raffles along with our events.
Yeah, which sometimes they bring in a lot of money, and sometimes they don't. You know, the first one took off, and it got up to about $800,000, and that money helped us create operational income that we needed to actually run a business.
Yep.
We got to the point where it was just me taking phone calls, getting emails, processing paperwork. I work full time. I work full-time job, and I'm not going to say where, but I do work a full-time job.
And you
I've
have
got
3 kids.
yeah, and I was coaching a lot. My kids were young, and it was a strain on our family. It really was. You know, my wife would go to bed, and I'd be up till 2 or 3 in the morning trying to get paperwork from people who were sick and writing checks and mailing them out. And people would buy T-shirts online, and I would have to pack them up in an envelope and take them to the post office and mail them out. It was one thing after another, and I was tired, and I was almost done because I couldn't do it all anymore. And then when we started this raffle, this Queen of Hearts, it gave us the income to set aside to actually bring some people on payroll. And I never thought we would do that. Never dreamed we would have the ability to do that.
But what you said at the beginning was we are ran like a business.
We are.
And I think that fools a lot of people because I think the charity world is a completely different aspect and it needs to be ran like a business.
It is. And again, we've brought this up. I watched a video, and I meant to look it up before we started this conversation. But basically, the guy, it's a TED Talk, and it said, if we don't start thinking about charity differently, the charities aren't going to stick around. The good ones. The bad ones are going to, because they figured out a way to make money, to put money in their own pockets. But yeah, I was tired. And I was about ready to throw in the towel. And this raffle we kicked off, and it got crazy. And we've been trying to do that again, but I personally believe that the future of raffles is online. And we started some websites.
Yep, we did.
We took some of that money. We got thousands of dollars invested in websites to help raise money and sell tickets online. What are those sites? How often do we do those?
Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So 3 days a week. Monday, you have queenofheartslive.org. Wednesday is jokerswildlive.org. And then Friday is wheelofcashlive.org. And then occasionally we'll have a Go Halfers. That's just a 50-50 split the pot. And that website's gohalferslive.org.
Yeah, and we've built those with the support of the Kentucky Gaming Commission to make sure that we do everything legal. But, you know, when that pot total got high, everybody was buying tickets. Everybody in the area was buying tickets. And we tried to get news coverage, and the news didn't show up. The pot total was is close to $800,000. We didn't get press coverage. All we could get and do was social media stuff. The news wasn't interested. So we didn't get the publicity that we thought we could have got with a pot total that high. We didn't do it for the publicity, but at some point we thought, wow, somebody's going to be interested and want to cover this and run a story that a small organization has created a fun game at a local restaurant. It's providing for the community. It's providing people to come to eat at this person's restaurant. It's buying tickets and supporting a charity. It's the people in the strip mall there were benefiting because people couldn't get into the restaurant. It was so crowded, so they were going other places to shop. And then when the pot paid out, the following wasn't as thick as it was. We still have not sold near the amount of tickets we did that very first one. But you take that out of the picture, and the very first one put us on a new map. So we were talking about this on the way in the car, and we're getting to something. I want to talk about a little story here, but I want to cover how hard it is to raise money. One of the hardest things in the world is to convince people to donate a cause that you firmly put your heart and soul in and believe in. You have to convince them how important it is to everybody else. It's crazy. Raising money is so difficult. I hear people contact me all the time and say, how did you all do it? What did you all do? I want to start my own 501c3. I'm like, look, it'll suck the life out of you if you're not careful. It really will. Yeah. I was so close to throwing in the towel. But the money that we raised off that first raffle took us to a different level, to the point where I was telling Kellye on the way in here, somebody made a comment one day that Shirleys Way is big business.
Must be nice.
I don't know what they mean by big business. We're not funded by major corporations. We are funded by the raffles that we've created, our $10 monthly donors, and our small businesses that support us on our raffles and things we do. That's how we're funded.
I mean, you all have to think, literally, we just went through one of the probably hardest years that I'll ever experience in my lifetime. But we have our gaming facility down there. We couldn't open it. It was closed. We couldn't have events. Nobody was able to host anything. So you have to think we went through a year and a half of not doing anything other than luckily our online raffles and our $10 monthly donations, or
Yeah.
we would have closed doors.
Yeah, there's no way. It's kind of crazy how we survived that. But this is leading into a story. So I was talking to one of our folks the other day and said she got a phone call that a friend of ours recommended that he call Shirley's Way because his wife was just recently diagnosed with breast cancer. Totally get it. The guy's scared. He's frustrated. He's upset, wondering if his wife is going to be sick or even going to survive the cancer. And then you add the financial aspect on it. And not knowing how many stacks of bills that you're going to get from anybody that sticks their head in the door. They're going to send you a bill in the hospital room, and you don't even know what it's for. But there's nothing you can do about it. Do you know who to call when you started getting bills from your mom? Who do you call?
I didn't call anybody.
Yeah.
I threw it away.
Yeah. You call an 800 number, you get a different person every time, and nobody is committed to helping you walk through this process. So the point is, I get the guy's frustration. But Mary explained the process of getting help from Shirley's Way, and it's a couple forms. It's not a lot of information. It's basically a form signed by the doctor's office, coming from the doctor's office, proving that you're sick. And she said at that point, we'll try and, help you with what we can, but right now we can only do $300 or $400. And the guy's response was, well, what good is that going to do me? That's a complete waste of my time. I mean, think about that. We do so much to try and raise money to help people. And the guy, I guess, thinks that we're a multi-million-dollar organization that can just give away thousands of dollars to everybody at any given moment. And I wish that was the case. Somebody sent a message the other day. They wanted some sort of thing to help with their loved one's cancer. I forget what it was. It was I don't know, but it was $3,500. I was like, look, I'd love to do that, but there's no way we can cover that. I wish we could. But I know this person follows us, and I hope that they understood that if we could, we would. But, to get that aggravated, an organization that is primarily made up with volunteers, we have a few staff, because if we didn't have staff, we would have closed up years ago because I had it. Couldn't keep up. Couldn't keep up with all the work. And even all the work, you got the complaints. So you're trying to do your best to really make a mark in this world, and have somebody complain was so frustrating. And I'd had it. So thank gosh we've got staff now to kind of do that. But it's all based on $10 monthly donations. Small businesses that have decided to donate $100 a month. We've got one corporate organization, and I'm not going to say who they are, the past few years has written us a check for $10,000. That's the only consistent corporate entity that has shown any interest in us.
But $10,000 is a lot to us.
It is.
Tell your story about your friend.
It is a lot of money. Which one?
The one that raised $10,000 for another corporation.
Yeah. A friend of ours raised $10,000 for another organization. $10,000. I don't know how many people have done an event or tried to raise money. Again, raising money is so difficult to convince people that your mission is important to this world and they should donate it. But a friend of ours raised $10,000, and I don't even know what they did. They probably had some sort of concert thing and something like that. They had $10,000. They were proud. They walked in this corporate office of this major 501c3, and I'm not going to say who they are because every one of us will know who they are. Walked in with $10,000, talked to the receptionist, and she said, "Thank you." He said, "I'm not looking for a pat on the back or nothing big." He goes, "But maybe can we just get a check presentation picture or something so I can share it on our website so people will continue to donate to this event that we want to do every year for you?" She goes, "There's nobody here right now." This was before COVID. So it's not like everybody were out of the office because of this COVID BS. But she said, "There's nobody here." So this person raised $10,000, was so proud of themselves, walked in there, was proud, handed to them. and it didn't move the needle for this organization. Not once. But it's a multi-million-dollar organization. They bring in millions a year from corporations that donate to them just because these corporations want to check a box and say they gave.
Mm-hmm. But $10,000 to Shirley's Way pays 10 mortgages.
Yeah. Or how many utility bills?
Yeah, 20, 30 utility bills.
It makes a difference to an organization like us.
Yep.
So Shirley's Way is not your cup of tea, fine. But, we got to figure out a new way to do things. All of these politicians chase problems that are going to help get them reelected. Period.
Yep.
If it's not something that's going to help get them reelected, they're not interested. How many of our national politicians do you think are multimillionaires?
All of them.
I mean, look at them. When they leave office, they've got millions of dollars. I thought it was funny. Hillary Clinton made a statement one time. She goes, when we left the White House, we were poor. You know what poor to her was? They still had like 6 houses. And I'm not picking on her. I'm not choosing a side. My point is, poor to her is not poor to you and I.
No.
Poor to you and I is eating ramen noodles and wondering if our electricity is going to be turned off because we're sick.
Yep.
It's not having 5 or 6 houses on every continent or every coast and considering yourself poor. That's not poor. But that's the world we're living in. So if Shirley's Way isn't your cup of tea, fine. But if you keep giving to these major organizations money that could help people in the local community, call one of them. I'm not going to name them. Call one of them. We all know who they are. Call one of them and say, hey, I'm sick. I need my utility bills paid this month. Do you, in your right mind, think they're going to write a check or go to the LG&E website and make your utility bill for you? They're not going to do it. They're going to look at you like you're crazy. The organizations like us, Shirley's Way, and there's several other ones, look us up. We've given a lot of money away, and for that person today on the phone, again, in their grieving status, totally get it. But to get aggravated, it's an organization that doesn't have the major corporate support. It's just heart-wrenching. But I really wanted to do this to talk about how difficult it is to raise money, how creative we have become to try and raise money. And I wake up every morning with a new way, a new thought of, hey, what if we did this? Do we think it's going to help? Do we think it's going to raise more money?
Think about this, because I seen something the other day, and I think that it's fitting for Christmas time. It said something like, if your friend buys you a $30 gift for Christmas, they make $10 an hour. They just gave you 3 hours of their life, working. Like, be grateful for it. So you have to think, $300 to $400 that we were offering him. At $2 a raffle ticket, we get $1. The other dollar goes to the pot total. I can't do math, but that's like 150 raffle tickets, right? That we have to sell.
It's a lot. To $300 or $400
Yeah.
at $2 a ticket, we make $1 per ticket. That's 300 to 400 raffle tickets we got.
There you go. Yeah.
So the Queen of Hearts following has dropped drastically. Is that a word?
No.
Drastically. This week we only sold about $800 in tickets, so we didn't even raise enough on our raffle this Monday to even help the $300 or $400 we offered to give to the guy. That's an excellent point.
Yeah, so think about that next time.
It takes a lot to raise money, effort, time, sweat, hours and hours and hours. And I'm not complaining right now because we got an awesome staff. It's just frustrating what we go through to raise money and still get grief over it. But I don't think people realize we're not the major organization that people think we are. It's a persona that I guess we've been able to pull off, which is pretty cool that people think we're a major organization. But we're not. The last story I will end you with on this one is last night at the bingo. Standing there, yes, I worked the bingo. Me and Kellye both. We worked the bingo. Wendy is the primary person. She's awesome, and her staff. But I was standing there selling packs last night, and people, they're either happy, and we got a lot of good people that come and play bingo. It's a mixed crowd. They're awesome. You got a few that are a little difficult, but we've had fun with it. So we're standing there, and this lady buys her packs and goes and finds her table, and later when the line clears, she comes up to me, and she said, "Are you Mike?" I said, "Yes." And she said, "I follow you online, and you helped me and my husband when he was sick." And she was about to cry. And I probably teared up too because I'm a softie. I always have been. And she said, I just wanted to thank you. She goes, that's why we're here to play bingo. She goes, I'm not even a fan of bingo, but I wanted to do something to come back and support you for what you did for me and my husband. And she goes, you were able to pay a utility bill or something like that. And she goes, no other organization would even attempt to help us, but you did. And I just wanted to say thank you. And she almost started crying on me. And she walked away real quick. And I caught her outside or out there later at one of the tables. And she goes, I had to walk away. I was about to break down. She said, but I just really wanted to come up and thank you for what you did. So then we hear that.
Gives you cold chills.
It really does. Um,
But then the flip side of that is that you have people that we've helped and do a lot for them, you know, when we can, and then you never hear from them again.
Yeah, gone.
We were talking about this on the way here, and you all know my story if you've listened at all. And I'm not patting my family on the back, but with the help that Shirleys Way gave my mom, you've probably gained an extra 20 people.
Yeah,
you know,
and they all donate.
Yeah, donate, or they volunteered, in, you know, when they can or whatever they do. But that's just how my family was able to give back. And there's several families out there that don't, you know, and that's fine. That's your thing, I guess. But it's just crazy how you'll have somebody, and like you said, you pay a $300 utility bill, and then you'll have them for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and then like you said, we got the others that we paid a mortgage for back when we first started. If somebody handed me $3 cash, I was running to the bank to deposit it because I was hoping one day that we could have a consistent $10,000 in the bank. I thought, how cool would it be to have $10,000 sitting there that we don't have to use for anything? And you know where our money went at the beginning? Freaking legal fees to get our 501c3s. Taxes, forms from taxes. The government, they'll tax the hell out of you. I don't care who you are. They're going to tax you to death. But taxes and fees for the government and this fee and that fee. So I would deposit $3 just hoping one day we would have $10,000 sitting in the bank. So in case somebody really had an emergency, we would have some money there to help them. Running $3 to the bank to make a deposit just to have some cash there hoping to help. But we've raised up a little past that because of these raffles and $10 monthly donations. And I'm like you in your car a second ago. I don't even know where I was going with that.
You have pregnancy brain too.
I got fat brain, I think. I'm gaining too much weight, too many buffets. But
oh my God.
But you know, I know where I was going with that. Not too long ago, about 6 months ago, a while back, we'd helped these people and did several things for them. And about 6 months ago, somebody in their family had passed, and we had paid a house payment and helped them travel someplace to get some treatments. And in the obituary, they put, in lieu of flowers, donations can be made to the American Cancer Society. Mm-hmm. It was a real punch in the gut. And everybody can make their choices, but I see that stuff. Kellye sees that stuff, and we talk about it, and we're not saying we need your firstborn, but when we do out of the kindness of our heart to try and raise money to keep people's roofs over their heads and their utilities on, then you see some that we've actually done some stuff for. In the obituary, the last words for that particular person was donate to the American Cancer Society.
Yep. And then on the flip side, like I said, you have someone who you never helped, never gave $1 to, passes away, and they make donations to Shirleys Way, and we've already gotten over $1,000 from them just because their family supports what we do.
Yeah. And most of those people really don't have much at all, but they're willing to give a little bit of what they have.
Mm-hmm. I went to the funeral, and a guy, he was from out of state, never met him before in my life, and he was talking to one of the family members, and he said, I want to give $300, but I don't know what Shirleys Way is. Because like I said, he wasn't from here. So they pulled me up, and I had to explain what we did, and he was like, that's all I needed to know. And made a $300 donation under her name, just because he wanted to, help the family and knew that they supported us, and so that's what he was given to.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Once people find out what we do, their jaws hit the table, and most of them, they have no idea. If you're affluent, good for you. You probably have no idea what troubles that we see that people deal with. But my point of saying that is the people that we talk to that have that are a little bit affluent have done well for their lives. Good for them. I believe in that. When we explain to them what we do, their jaws hit the table because they will probably never see that situation. Um, but we have seen some affluent people lose everything they have when they get a cancer diagnosis. I'm talking wipe out your 401k, have to put an extra mortgage on your house just to pay the bills. But that's what Shirley's Way does. So this kind of turned into a little bit of a rant to tell that story. And then we talk about the story of the bingo person last night that came up and was about to have about to cry, telling us how we helped them. And we hear stories like that, and it really makes a difference. But we were talking here. I'm pretty vocal on social media. I'm not going to come up and talk to you, so you don't have to shy away from us. We're not going to come up and ask you for a donation personally. That's just the way we are. So you don't have to hide from us. We're not going to come up and ask for money. We're not going to be like the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts out pushing cookies and popcorn on you at Kroger. We're not going to do that. But we're very social media driven. We do a lot on social media, a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of Facebook stuff. But if you don't want to follow us, that's fine. Perfectly fine with me. We've got enough people that follow us. If we're not your cup of tea, that's okay. But think about where you donate your money. I don't believe in telling people what they do, but just research it. If you're given to a major organization that is completely funded by corporate America, they're going to get their millions every year. So, help us keep doing what we're doing. Shirleysway.org, $10 a month. Small businesses are signing up at $100 a month. And that has kept us alive and has kept us moving along with our mission of helping people who are sick with cancer.
And if you're one of those people, which is fine too, because I think you've come to find out that people like getting things in return. People like to win something. So if you just don't want to donate $10 a month, that's fine too. Play our raffles.
Yeah.
Like he said, $2 a ticket, $1 goes into the pot, and $1 goes to Shirley's Way. So if you want to take a chance on any of our raffles, 2 weeks ago, I think 2 of them paid out. We paid out over probably $25,000 to a couple different people right before Christmas. So take your chances on that. And then in a few weeks actually next week, Thanksgiving, I don't think this will be out yet, but we do a lot for our monthly donors too. We give back to say thank you. So, we'll give out some cash or we'll give away prizes that are donated and things like that. So if you don't want to be just strictly a $10 monthly donor, like I said, play our raffles in the hopes that you'll win some money and help your family out as well. But
yeah, last story. You mentioned that. You said if you don't want to be a monthly donor and you like to win something, play our raffles. A lady called me not too long ago and kind of upset. And she said, my mom is sick. They're going to start treatments. I don't think it's a good idea because all the treatments are going to do is give her about 6 more months of life. And she's like, why should we pay for all that if it's only going to give 6 months of non-quality life? She said, but I just want to let you know. She goes, I've been to your raffles. I'm always sitting in the crowd hoping you pull my name so I can win the money. She said, but I've never thought about sitting on this side of it. She goes, I'm always sitting there hoping to win, not being the person that could be the recipient of what you all do.
Yep.
And she goes, I just want to thank. And at this point, she's crying. I'm crying. She's on the phone, can't even hardly make a sentence. She's huffing because she's so upset talking about her mom. And she goes, I'm a single woman trying to help my mother, and it's such a strain because, she's got to eat. She used to have her own home, but she can't live by herself, so she's living with me. The point is, she said, I've always been in the crowd hoping to win one of your raffles, never thinking about being on the other side and having to ask for help. So keep that in mind, folks.
And honestly, I hope I never talk to any of you all.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate that. If someone approaches us, it's never good.
Yeah.
It's either a sad story that we've helped them or they need help currently.
Yeah.
So,
and yeah, we don't wish that on anybody. But when she told that story, it hit home. I just never really thought about that side of it. So
no, I didn't either.
Anyway, help us out this year. We got some year-end goals. We've gotten close, but not close enough to where we wanted. $10 a month from as many people as we can get. ShirleysWay.org, small businesses signing up for $100 a month. And it's truly made a difference for us.
Yep. Thank you all so much. Subscribe to our podcast. Check out our newest episodes as they come out every Monday, and we'll talk to you soon.
See ya. Bye-bye.